Good afternoon, Robert Scribbler. It is July 19th, 2018. Thank you for joining me for another climate change and clean energy video blog. Now for this segment, I'm going to provide an update for you on a report we did earlier about wildfires raging in Sweden. And for this update, I just want to focus in on Arctic wildfires and talk about the climate change related nature of Arctic wildfires as the Earth has continued to warm due to fossil fuel burning and other related carbon emissions into the Earth's atmosphere. So for this update, according to a recent report by Jonathan Watts in The Guardian, in this article that I hope you guys read, 11 fires are presently blazing above the Arctic Circle in Sweden. And this comes as an abnormally hot and dry summer rages across Europe, turning it into a tinderbox. Looking at the Copernicus Observatory, we can see the present location of fires, large fires, and large burn areas. And as we see in this image, we have a number of fires blazing in the region of the Arctic Circle here, as noted by The Guardian. Now, zooming in on the satellite picture, we can see a pretty clear representation of a number of these fires, including smoke plumes and hotspots in the NASA Worldview analysis. And I'm just going to zoom it out to give you guys a perspective as to where these fires are burning. So we have Iceland over here to the west. This is Scandinavia region. To the north, we have the Barents Sea. And this is the 70-degree north latitude, so 66 degrees is the line of demarcation for the Arctic, which runs about here where my cursor is. So anything above this line is Arctic. Now, the Arctic is characteristic of a zone that even in July doesn't typically experience temperatures that are above 55 degrees, but during recent days we have seen temperatures in the 80s and 90s in this region. Now, of course, this is Fahrenheit measures. For Celsius measures, you are looking at temperatures ranging between around 26 to 32 degrees Celsius or more in some locations during recent days. Now, warming in the Arctic has a number of effects in relationship to wildfires. The first effect is that vegetation and trees and any form of growth is less resilient to fires. So when fires do happen in the far north, due to a warming climate, these zones tend to burn a bit more readily. Now, in addition to that, you have a number of zones, permafrost zones, that are thawing. And when permafrost thaws, it transforms often into peat, because there's a lot of dry or wet organic material in permafrost. And so when Arctic fires do burn, they can often burn into these permafrost zones and ignite a peat-type fire. And peat-type fires tend to burn longer and tend to emit more smoke. And there's some concern that fires themselves are going to activate the permafrost and help transition some of the stored carbon in the permafrost to the atmosphere as a feedback to human-caused climate change. So all of these are concerns. Now, one other added effect of human-caused climate change in the Arctic is that it increases thunderstorm activity, and lightning is a primary ignition source for wildfires. And so as thunderstorms increase in the Arctic, you have added natural ignition sources. And in addition to that, of course, there are human ignition sources as well. Now, zooming in on these fires, I want to take a look at some of these burn scars. This is a very clear representation in the satellite map today for July 19th. And notice on the lower right here is a scale. I don't know if you can see it. My head might be blocking it, but so the 10-mile scale is here, and the 10-kilometer scale is here. And so as we zoom in on these fires, you can see that the burn scars are 1 to 2 to 3 miles across. There's another cluster here, and another large cluster here, with the smoke plumes extending out far to the north. And I'm going to take one more look here at another burn scar. So these are very large fires raging in an Arctic location that does not typically see fires, and this is a signal of human-caused climate change. Now, I'm just going to provide you with some images of wildfires that we have seen this year in northern regions, in permafrost regions, and in Siberian regions. And this wildfire, this picture of a wildfire, was taken on May 9th, a satellite photograph, and this was in Siberia near the Amur region. And another satellite was taken by the Sentinel, and also showing these very large fires burning through the Amur region. So just to be clear, increasing prevalence of northern wildfires is a climate change signal, and it's also a potential enabler for feedbacks to human-caused warming that make climate change more difficult to deal with. And all the more reason to reduce the initial human forcing and the added heat to the atmosphere that is sparking these new extreme climate and weather trends. So thank you for joining me. I'm going to go ahead and leave you with this stunning picture here, and I'll look forward to chatting with you soon.